I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Everybody, welcome back to CTA Review. Today is March 16, Monday, 2026. Hope you had a good day, good weekend here. Real quick, I'm going to go to it, try to make this video fast, but we have a rollover period. We have FOMC on, what is it, Wednesday, I believe. So with that situation here, you're not going to get those long held trades, those long expansions, those long moves. They're pretty much going to be chopping around, and it's going to be a hunting liquidity profile. So to keep this simple here, there's ain't nothing simple about this, but to be honest, when they gapped down on Monday, we had on Sunday night, we had a very small gap. Number one. So that's right there, suspect, showing that we weren't continuing to the lows. We are into a 2 to 2.5, which I talked about on Friday and all last week. We did that. Now the problem is that I'm gonna go fix this projection here. As you notice, I'm still expecting prices to the downside, but you notice when we open here, and it's a straight push up, right? So they only offered buy side buying, and then they did retrace this deep, but this little piece here is still only offered one way, not the wick, but from here to there, right? So initially I had these projections here with the bodies. So look to your left here. You could see 1 and 1.5 here, 2 to 2.5, and 3.5 to 4. See that? You can see that, right? 3.5 to 4. But this ended up being more accurate. Now take a look. You're gonna see what this situation up here is real quick. So let me go back to this. All right, let me go back to this real quick. To the day here. To frame out the day. So I'm saying all that to say this, and I'll show the trade today, but point is that when we're pushing up here, we're obviously retracing really deep, right? And the big question was this daily imbalance, this March 12th, was it going to be empty or not? Okay. As you can see, I'm highlighting the gaps in between because there are gaps. If I was to do this, just so you can see it, okay? Just so you can see it. I'm going to make this, well, let me go back to it. You'll notice that when you include the gaps, you can see 50% is right there, right? You're not going to see it on here because I don't want it to clutter. This is from the 4th of February. That other one over here, all right? So here you'll see you have to include the gaps, and 50% is there. We knocked on that. We knocked on that today, generally speaking, right? Coming up to it. And we initially hit it first because I'm still using these old gaps. So this gray gap and this gray gap. This was last week's gray gap here. Last week's, and then that was this was the weeks prior. Okay, so I have it quadded still. I'm still using these levels here. All right, I have these first imbalances. God, my head's spinning trying to even explain this because I don't feel too well today. But when we were here at 9:30, we knocked on that level of that 25%. Also, coupled with that, just so you know, is if I take the range from this high to this low, okay, you'll see 50% is right here. See 50%? Boom. It's laying on that, right? So you'll see how I took the sell there. And so just way too much confluence with that, plus 2 standard deviation on the Asia range, which is these lines right here. You can see that they're nested right there. And plus, this is the first imbalance of February. I'm sorry, March. Not March, not February, March. February is where is February? Oh, it's up there, ain't it? Um, yeah, but we're not using that anymore. We're all the way down here. Anyways, so March's first imbalance, all right? Using it as support resistance. Fucking, they did this manipulation right here. Let me show you. They're fucking scamming as what they did today. So back to the projections here. Here's 3.5 to 4 if I was to have used just the wicks of that last down move and not the bodies. You'll see that we had the previous day's high, which is Friday. When we have a large, not large range day week, but when we have a manipulation week, or when we're in a discount, what they'll do is they'll generally take out both sides of Friday. So Monday will take out both sides of Friday, which is, it's rare. You'll see it happen on, like you'll see here. This Friday did it. Generally in extreme discounts, they'll do that. They'll take out the previous day's high and low, right? In this case, they did that. So that's why I was saying, if I just now kind of go and do this, the question was it going to come inside this area here, right? So, as you can see, we tap in it on the daily there. You see that? You see how we tap right into it? And if we were really bearish, we would have wanted to see that stay empty, before we take out this low. But, it's we'll see. So that being all said, I can frame the rest of the video. So, okay, man. So we have first imbalance of Friday right here. And then we have first imbalance of the month, the big green one here. We got the first imbalance of Thursday sitting here. And we already tagged that yesterday, which would be Friday. But what was more important with this situation is, are we going to fucking come up to the center? And I got to highlight, I'm only going to show this just because of the fact that it will make sense beforehand. So you'll see here, I expect to, when we retrace all day, night in Asia, just to show you that buyers and sellers couldn't have done this. How could buyers and sellers have pushed the price here and bought all this time in Asia and London and pre-New York, and then when fucking New York actually happens, which is when everyone, do you think institutions and everyone is trading at Asia last night? They're not. They're not. So, that being said, they're just using the excuse to push up and wipe out the easy sellers because, we caught this bitch selling down, didn't we? Go watch Friday's video. Point is that out of all Asia, London, pre-New York, and when New York comes, they only make it 150 point range, period. You think listen, I was born at night, but not last night, right? So does it make sense? What's that called? It's called manipulation. It ain't buyers and sellers doing that, right? So point is, you have to come into the expectation of knowing it's a rollover week. We're going to be changing our charge to NQM, as in Mary, 2026 instead of the H that we're sitting at. And when you have these rollover contracts, you expect to take just liquidity. You don't expect home runs. I mean, generally speaking, it'll sell off, right? But I mean, in this case, you want to take profit when you take lows. Now, watch this. Look at this, what I've got highlighted. Keep in mind what I've got highlighted here, okay? So I have the first imbalance right here. I have this level that I talked about. What was that level that we talked about with this first circle in red here? I don't want the price to come here, but I'm looking at this as either going to be, since the price is in a premium, is it's going to either be a pump and then dump down and be a normal bearish day. And if it's not, it's going to be a shakeout day. What does a shakeout day mean? It's a speaker. You're going to make a high, then a low, then a high, then a low, right? For example. So me understanding that, yes, I would like to come into here. I understand that it's possible to come down here. And then I also know it's possible not to. So what I do is, you take a look here. I also have this red circle here. Look what the time is, 10:51. I've had these levels already drawn at 9:30. So while we're doing this higher high and higher low, we have very few options of dipping in, only because most of the daily range of this average daily range is, I believe it was 550. It has already been printed. So um, at the low here was what the fuck was it? 270 something. And then at the time, up here was 750 area, and then this was 680. So what I'm saying is there's already been 400 something points in the day, and there's only 100 points left. So if I was to add 270, which was the low here, 270 plus 500 will be 770, right? And then 770 plus the 50 little other points would be what? We'll just say it's 800 points. 24,800. See what I got here? So this circle here, this other red circle, is what? Is the previous day's high, which would be Friday. I have that gap right there. And I have that 50%. I mean, I'm showing you clear. And why do I have it in red? Because I don't want it to go there, but I know it's possible that it can go there, right? So take a look. We do this bullshit higher high and higher low. We get to that first red circle that I've got marked. Why? Because we're at that 25% on that gap, on the weekly gap. Fucking very clear that I'm only still using these gaps. So that 25% quadrant, I'm highlighting it. It's outside of that first imbalance of the month. It's above that piece of liquidity right there. You got that -2 standard deviation right there. Don't forget I mentioned that earlier. And then I also, if you did 50%, I showed you earlier in the video, the 50% of the range, 50% is laying right there. Sure enough, we get to this, get the drives up here. I even take a loss here. And then sure enough, because when it's at the 50, I'm wondering if it's going to stay below and then retrace back in. That was my goal for the day. And then we had these drives up. So I take another shot here. Look where my entry is laying literally on that 25%, which would also be that 50% of the range from the high to the low, remember? And fucking boom, comes down, immediately leaks, breaks that low, which is the first 1 minute internal structured low. Then you have this a mid-range, mid-higher time frame range, which would be the low that we made at 9:30, and then we blow through. Okay, so we take out that liquidity, and then we come and we sweep these guys right here. So we have a breakout area, this high right here. We break up, and then we have this liquidity. So, right, so liquidity, imbalance, breakout area, price shoots right to it. Beautiful. Now you can see it on the 15-minute, like over here, right? So let's go back. So that's me screenshotting it here, right? What do? We come back up too deep for my liking, for it to roll over. You thought it was going to be like Friday. Friday showed a displacement down. This right here is not a displacement at all, because we stop and then you start coming back up. So there's no really displacement here. It's just consolidating. And again, with the narrative that I told you earlier. So that being said, price pops back up real deep into that breakout area. All right, makes another low, high from there. Comes back down for a higher low, and then it just goes sideways. So just to show you, you think Asia and London and pre-New York did all that, but then when buyers and sellers came here, they did this at New York? Okay, bro. So what did they do? Went sideways on some bullshit. And I use this as the first imbalance. As you see, we're literally above and below it the whole day. And then these motherfuckers right here. You got Trump talking as well, which is, listen, he's not screwing things up. It's an excuse, dude. The dude, whatever he says this market's going to do, he's playing this script. He's saying this, they're doing that. I mean, listen, they got this running like a reality TV show. It's hilarious to me. For people like me who really know what's going on, like as far as like the rigged part of this, it's comical. It's really comical. So look at this right here. All right, 309 shoots right to it. You think buyers and sellers shot it right to? How can that be possible? I've got this level drawn before the day started. How? How? How does it snap right to it? It snaps right to it, dude. Bink, snaps right to it. Misses it by a tick. You don't say. Well, the 3.5 to 4. You got the 50%, and then the previous day's high, which is Friday, obviously. And then look at the bodies coming right back in. Doesn't, yeah, dude, it's so comical. I was not trading the rest of the day, but I had to take a nap, and I came back here, and I'm like, I just started laughing because I'm like, dude, you can't make this up. I mean, this is the only reason why I'm gonna show this, because of the fact that I had it here highlighted specifically. It's just so funny, bro. And then they snapped up real quick just to wipe them out. Look at this. And then came right back in. Bro, a whole day they were pushing up here like this, right? Like right here. And then they push up at the last second. And then the news, you're going to say, oh, well, the news. Yeah, it was the news that did that, right? What was that? 3 o'clock here. What time is it? It's 4 on the head. So it would have been an hour ago. And if it was 50 minutes ago, yeah. So then they started talking about some stupid ass news. Um, Iran wants to make a deal and all this and that. Listen, bro, get it the fuck out of here. I mean, man, they really believe you're that stupid. So, anyways, that's the explanation of it really coming there. That's algorithmic, bro. That's not that this is proof that wasn't buyers and sellers. Anyway, they want to tap into that. Previous they had knocked that out because that was easy. That was a nice sell from Friday. But and then you got people trailing their stop loss on the daily if they're on the swing side, right? And that's what it is. And then once they hit that level, look what they conveniently came back all the way from the fucking buyers here, bruh. So, anyways, that's to explain this. And then I'm gonna move forward, and then you got you got the VIX coming down, bro, slowly. The 1 hour was very helpful in that sense because I knew there was a lot of room. So that's why when I drew that, sir, I knew it was just going to be like a slow. So again, it wasn't a pump dump today. It was a shakeout. It was a speaker shakeout day. That profile, if it doesn't pump and then immediately keep selling like a bearish day, then that's going to be a shakeout manipulation day. And that's just what it is. So, and there's that. Go to a 5 minute on this VIX here, and then yeah, obviously you'll still see that shit going on, right? Dollar, fucking whatever. They took those highs. Remember I mentioned that guy right there? Do you guys remember this? Did I mention it in Friday's video? Was it Friday's video? Look at that, bro. I mean, man, bro. Why isn't it showing this chart? I don't know why it's not showing. Oh. Whoops. To the tick. Like, bro, like remember I mentioned about this candle that just opened up here and then came down? It's just literally the most oddest candle on earth. That's called manipulation. So they're coming right back to it, to the tick, just to say that they were fair. After you know, almost a year. But you see that? You see that? Come on. Amazing. So excuse for them to push it back down and then for them to push us back up. Let's keep going here. We had a divergence initially um with Dow because Dow had took out the previous day's high and we sold off. Um and we just did it now in the PM session. So then it became S&P didn't take out that. We sold off again. So they're just scamming. And so you have to know this and you have to have no expectations during the week. You generally speaking want to take your base hits and then, you know, FOMC kicks out the moves and we'll really continue from there. Nice little divergence with a lower high there. So that was a nice little sell. That's how I took the sell. You had lower highs here on each one, and sure enough, you had your little higher low here to push that shit back up, buddy. All right, and whoa, come on, bro. So weird. All right, Dow with the equal lows, damn near. Look at opening still. Because they know that you're selling, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like they know you're selling, so they gotta pop up and get the previous day's high, which is obviously Friday. So that's just all it is, man. There's no, you know, I went into it knowing that shit. So you know, starting to get choppy here. We're gonna switch over, and then you're gonna say, well, how do you know when to switch over? A, you'll start seeing get real choppy, right? And in like even a New York session. And then B, you go look at the open interest. Go to barchart.com, type in YMH or ESH or NQH 2026 and then type it in and then they'll pull up the chart. You'll see the open interest. And then you go do the same thing for NQM as in Mary, and then you'll see which open interest is higher. So those are the two ways to know when to roll over. Obviously, on the they tell you when to do it here with this, right, on the 20th that it expires. But that you'll see when the open interest is higher, and yeah. So anyways, that and when it gets spotty and all that. So I'm still using it right now, and then very soon I'll be switching over to the next contract. But what was I gonna say? What was I doing? Okay, so yeah, so again, you'd expect the pump dump, right? But because of the scenario, they're not doing it. So they just wanted to come up real quick and take out the previous day because they know that shit. We was busting that bitch from Friday. You saw the video, I'm assuming. So we caught that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Super ugly price. I'm sorry, I'm talking and thinking at the same time. That's just super garbage. Ugly price. S&P fell short of it, like I mentioned. Do they want to come up and grab that? So I'll get into the narrative of what the week's supposed to look like. I'm still bearish in a sense, but I mean, I don't know, bro. It's going to be very interesting the way they kept this that long, and then they'll say, okay, time served, like you went to jail. Time served, and then pushes straight up for just a consolidation. That'll be the biggest rug pull in the world because we expect it to come lower. But imagine if they did that, and then the way Trump, the way they got Trump talking about, when the war's over, I'll let you know. Okay, he's like, it won't be long. Oh, okay, bro. I've never in my life seen so much fucking comedy. It's like so obvious for someone like me. But anyways, that being said, and yeah, just fucking sideways, super ugly, and then that's that. So what do I expect here? Remember, there's no body here offered. So coming back down, it makes sense perfect for me. So if it's a bearish week, okay, this is what I expect. Up and down, up and down. Liquidity hunting. So they'll make a high on Tuesday. So I thought they were going to save it for maybe for Asia, and then Tuesday be the high, and then push down. So, but they already grabbed their ass today. So they grabbed them, and then now my expectation is something like this. Okay, let me even move that more. So, and you might think this looks funny, but what they'll do is when it becomes a liquidity hunting week profile, especially with an FOMC rate, they'll put, if it's a bearish week, they'll push up Monday, and then Monday or Tuesday will make the high inter week. In this case, they already knocked it out for Monday, so I don't know. I don't see them coming back up on Tuesday to then come back down. But right now, they have all right to come back and get to this. And then once they do this and get some liquidity here, then they'll pop back up. Okay, they'll pop back up for Wednesday. Okay, and then Wednesday will push up. It'll be a barcode week. And then Wednesday will push up, knock out the liquidity that we're actually making now. Above it or below it, I don't know. And in general speaking, it might be a lower high. So that would be the long-term high here. Remember, there's no swing here. So we just have lower low, lower high. That's structure is not going to save you here. The market is not based off of just structure, obviously. So and also real structure, you'll have a lower high to the left, a lower high to the right. The higher high is the intermediate or long-term swing high. And then now it's, just basically all this price action I've been explaining in these past videos. So then once we come up, squeeze, maybe even tag this guy again, whatever they do it, if this comes above it or below it, we'll just see how they end up doing it. And then you come back down and you take out the liquidity here, plus the goal was this the whole time, right? There's nothing really I need to mention else. Plus the seasonal data, if I'm taking a look at it, it shows this type of price action on the 5-year more. On the 15 and the 30 year, the 15 year shows more of just being bullish. We're not getting that here. I don't see that happening. What's today? The 16th. So yeah, I don't see that happening unless. All right. So this is what I expect to see here. First of all, let me delete it. If it's like, well, see, we're not in a normal world, so I can't really draw this, but I'm gonna just do it anyway. Let's say the 16th. So on the 15-year type of thing, we're getting this type of flow. I drew this like a while ago, actually. All right, this would be not a while ago. I can't remember what day that was. That was I can't remember, but that would just kind of be the case. I don't expect this at all. Just so you know, I'm just throwing that out there. That's the 15-year. On the 5-year, the 5-year does dip back, kind of like what we discussed. Oh my god, what we discussed here, and it being the 16th, we kind of do this, and then we pop up. All right, so that's that, and then but I'm pretty much bearish, and I just don't like the way they're saying, oh, it'll be over soon, it'll be over soon. It's like, oh, you guys are scamming hard. They've already, especially with oil, right? When they screwed everybody with oil, pushing it all the way up, and now it's pushing back down a little bit. That is also helping us stay up here, but it's just you know what? I do want to pull this up here. Let me just show you this real quick, because I don't normally do. What the fuck, bro? So I don't normally do this, but you'll see the QQQ here. Notice how we have a fucking gap there, right? This is why I expect us to come back down. Also on QQQ, notice that we only had bodies of selling here. Then we came down here, and then we put bullish bodies up. This is a 4-hour though. Okay, you see that? See this fuckery that they're doing? So then here, they fucked up with this gap right here because now it's like, okay, well, yeah, we're probably going to come back in. I don't care if it stays above this level or comes below it. I know we're coming back down here. I mean, I'm just kind of confident about that. I mean, but that's what help us move it down today, or Tuesday will end up pushing it down. I'm expecting that to be the case. So there's that, and then here's your oil, and I'm gonna go to a daily chart just so you can see this fuckery. Look at this. I was telling some of the family members on this weekend we had a little party, and look at the lower highs here, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and this is from fucking March 22nd, dude. Okay, that's a year. That's fucking 4 years ago, and tell me why they did it in days. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 6 days, they fucking moved it up here. For 6 years, we're selling. Bro, I'm telling you, that's a scam. All right? That is not like, oh, they need... The only way they were going to do this is if they fucking had some bullshit excuse for like the war that they're talking about, bro. Like, trust me when I tell you. Okay. So, anyways, that's the case. That's that. And, so this is the first imbalance of Monday. It sucks because it's laying on top of the first imbalance of the month. But notice how we're stringing along it. You think that's coincidence? Out of all the places price could be right now, you think that's coincidence? No way. So and then yes, we tapped into Thursday's first imbalance right there. See that? And it's already using that gap. I should have done this already, but it's using as you see this area. I have an old week gap that's in gray in the background there. It's darker. I have this first imbalance of threads that I'm pushing out. Right, you see that. You have that have Friday's high as well. Okay, and then you have that 50%. What I showed you that we knocked. Come on, bro. I know I have a lot of shit going on here in my chart, but look how the bodies stop right there on Thursday's first imbalance. Like, just look at these little details, dude. Like, you can't make it up. So I've already talked about where we're going down, up, and we also had a lot of room on the 1 hour overbought area. So that was, I mean, it just made sense that they're, these when it's like this easy with the lower low, lower high. Would it have been nice to fucking go through? Yeah, but I mean, was it also with it being small of a gap like that? It wasn't likely. Number one, number two. Yeah, I mean, it just people are just making. I had an amazing week with these sells last week here, so this is very logical to forecast them possibly hitting that. I mean, come on, bro, look at that. Now, was I involved to buy it up there? No, I'm not buying up here. I'm not doing that. First of all, I'm bearish. All right. But you got to tread lightly. Number two, could I have sold it? I was sleeping. I literally wasn't even looking at the chart. So I came back and laughed. Look at that. So I think I said enough. 33 minutes. I like that. What else? I went over all this, didn't I? So back to the 2.5 here. Pretty nice. And then retracing back. Trying to get up to the breakout area. I think that was good enough. I mean, to be honest with you, man, I don't see. Now, the only thing that's possible is that if they do run back up one more time during Asia and London, and then sell off. I'm expecting a bearish day tomorrow. Let's put it like that. I'm expecting a bearish day tomorrow. And then let me look at FOMC real quick. I'm not FOMC, Forex Factory. And it's not Wednesday. It is Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday at 2 o'clock, obviously. So we're looking for heavy bullshit, 2-stage move then. And then and like I already drew that first drawing. Um, so okay, so here's the thing. It's if FOMC's on Wednesday, it's not on Thursday. So that might skew things a little bit with what I was drawing. Well, yeah. I'm gonna leave it at the way I drew it. I am bearish still. Um, but like I said, man, it's amazing if they pull that rug, dude, and let this big consolidation of the biggest consolidation ever in indices, damn near. Um, slip the rug and then shoot it up. I doubt it. I really think that they're still coming below these lows and the shit that we talked about here all these weeks, right? So, um, is now this the high of the week? Do they come down and is it a week lower high? Is Wednesday going to be the high of the week? Wednesday, if FOMC can literally destroy buyers and sellers in this area, it's not a fun place to be honest. So that's why I just tread lightly and wait for them to do the damage. You guys take care and God bless.